Newsreel Special. Children visit Atomic Sub Nautilus. This is the official insignia of the USS Nautilus, drawn by Walt Disney. She's the world's first atomic submarine, which Mouseketeer Cheryl Ann Stewart and her pal Rodney Wilkinson are about to see with their own eyes. Yes, these two lucky youngsters, whose fathers are members of the ship's company, are off to visit the Nautilus at the Navy's well-guarded submarine base at New London, Connecticut. And here she is, the biggest submarine ever built, longer than a football field. It's no secret that this is a big moment in the lives of Cheryl and Rodney. They are welcomed aboard by the ship's executive officer, Lieutenant John Nicholson. Named after a fish, as all submarines are, the Nautilus is different from anything that ever moved before. It's actually powered by controlled atoms. Here, Rodney watches a diesel-powered sub go by, much slower than the Nautilus, which is the fastest in the world. But to find out the real difference, they must go below, inside the streamlined hull. The only way to enter is through one of two small hatches. Down the ladder. It's like dropping through the chimney of a big new home. A lot different from the crowded subs of yesterday. Below, they see what really makes the Nautilus tick. And Rodney's dad, the ship's captain, explains that the ship steers just like an airplane. They learn, too, that the sub is driven by steam from an atomic furnace, and that these controls can plunge the ship deep into the ocean in less than a minute. Topside, the Nautilus prepares to sail. Rodney and Cheryl go to the bridge. Seawater, which cools the atomic engine, splashes from its sides, and the Nautilus is off on another history-making sea test. Though this ship can go faster underwater than on the surface, it doesn't take long for it to clear the harbor. Below, the mess hall becomes a miniature movie theater, and Rodney and Cheryl see pictures of the very first trip made by the Nautilus more than a year and a half ago. Since that time, she has traveled thousands of miles, almost twice around the world, and she has never been refueled. It's the first ship of any kind to use hot atoms for fuel. Aboard are all the comforts of home, and crew members hardly know they're at sea. It's as smooth as riding in your car, and even smoother underwater. Now, crew members prepare for diving practice, a drill that must run like clockwork. An enemy ship is spotted, and the diving officer shouts, "Clear the bridge! Dive! Dive!" It doesn't take long to close the ship up tight. There's even a grand staircase leading from the control room to the attack room. At the controls, things happen fast. Lights flash off to show all hatches closed, levers are pulled, another panel lights up, and water pours into the ballast tanks. The mighty warship starts to submerge. Diving planes like fish fins spin out, pulling her under. In a matter of seconds, only her wake is left. The Nautilus can dive deeper than any other submarine. Some say this, some say that, but the exact figure is secret. Unlike its fictional namesake in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the real Nautilus has a periscope to scan the surface. The Nautilus can operate at top speed underwater for days, even weeks, while the old subs at top speed can stay down for only an hour before their batteries need recharging. But it takes teamwork, and each of the 103 crew members are hand-picked for a special job. Each man wears a radiation badge to check on radioactivity aboard, but tests show that a man soaks up more radiation in the garden on a hot day. The Nautilus has 4 torpedo tubes, and here first-class torpedoman George Fields shows one to Rodney and Cheryl. Every sailor must eat to keep fit, whether he's underwater or on top. And all food on the Nautilus is atomically cooked on electric stoves powered by the ship's atomic reactor. The huge galley is spotless, and the food, like most Navy chow, is tops. In the ship's large mess hall, sailors no longer stand in line. They are served right at the table, and on plates instead of trays. Here, Cheryl gets a big helping of steak from her dad, first-class engineman Fred Stewart. While eating, crew members may listen to music over the ship's jukebox. And the most popular record aboard is the Mickey Mouse Club March.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? M-I-C-K-E-Y, M-O-U-S-E.
In the wardroom, officers spend their off-duty hours reading or relaxing over a game of acey-deucey. And there's little engine noise to disturb the contestants. Cleanliness is a must in the Navy, and aboard the Nautilus are electric washing machines and dryers. Each crewman has a comfortable bunk with a foam rubber mattress. Back in the control room, the submarine prepares to surface. Water is blown out of the ballast tanks with compressed air, and like an inner tube, the Nautilus bobs to the surface. After resurfacing, Old Glory rises again from its stern, and the world's first atomic submarine, the SS N-571, heads up the Thames River for home. It's the end of another voyage for the USS Nautilus, the newest and greatest member of Uncle Sam's submarine fleet. And for Rodney and Cheryl, it's the end of a real adventure.